actually the lower end phones are actually able to do a lot of things now. So now you don't need the top end one to do these things. You can get like the mid range device and still have access to all these benefits and stuff like that.
The mid range
nowadays, so
the mid range device is $900.
yeah, but but you're gonna keep it for like 3 to 5 years. No. And again, it's still worth it. It's still worth it.
Don't last no 5 years.
They can't last 5 years. I'm saying at the most is 5 years, on average around 3 years. So that's almost 3 years. And it's still worth it when you consider all the stuff you can do with these things. These are literal computers. We weren't front
worth it, man.
but you're not. No, you don't use all the features in it, so it's not worth it for you. So you should really get the lower end one because you're not using all the features. I use most of the features in my phone. I mean, all right. I'm just saying, we're about to say, man, I got a phone fixed for a reason.
He uses Google Maps to find French fries.
First of all, I got a Samsung 24 Ultra. You know what I'm saying? I got the best phone on the market.
No, Fold 6 is the best phone on the market. Sorry, guys. Fold 6.
Nah, man, I think this Samsung Ultra.
Well, that's what you said. You grab a Fold 6 and you'll change your mind.
Okay, alright.
iPhone is for people who think they're rich but not.
No, it's for anybody.
I agree.
Hey, I had one back when they were 3Gs and you only had to be with AT&T to get one. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, I remember that shit.
I use the iPhone because my girls are all Apple
I'm not learning another phone. I've had this since the 3G one, and I went straight from Razr. I had that Dolce & Gabbana Gold Razr. Woo, I love my Razr. Straight to iPhone. Man, I love it.
Nikki, I just want to respect for how many loans I had to cut to get my first roll bag.
Y'all remember back, I'm dating myself, of course, because I'm Gen X. Y'all remember back in the day when you got that 3 minute and you were trying to date somebody and they'd be like, hey, what's up, girl? How you doing? Oh, shit, call you back.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Wow, that was
We would do that for like hours. I kid y'all not. Hours. Yes, 3 nights a week. Be like, I can't call you until 7 o'clock. You using up all my minutes. You using up all my minutes.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. 7 o'clock? Really?
Apparently they're bringing out a flip phone again with an iPhone.
Yeah, that's gonna take a little bit. Because apparently Samsung is basically basically getting the screens from Samsung. I guess they don't like things at the moment.
But the Samsung flips are like, I was looking at one of those, I'm like, wow, this is like, there's no crease, there's nothing. Looks good.
Also, they actually have a Samsung Flip, do they, or an Android Flip?
Yeah, Galaxy Flip is called.
Oh, okay. I don't even know.
There's the Flip and the Fold, but apparently Apple wants to do the Flip variant, but I guess they don't like the crease in it or the durability or something like that. And because they're getting it through Samsung, they have to wait till Samsung perfects it.
Well, couldn't they just use the one from 15 years ago, which we all know? I mean, they have had this technology for a long time.
Well, just because they had doesn't mean it's right for the market yet. So they probably don't think it's for what they can do with it. I'm just going to say, Nikki.
Yeah, where is Apple getting the coltan from, though? Let's talk about it. The Congo.
Nikki, I just want to recognize the fact that I recognize you as Gen Xer, and I appreciate you for that because you can fully appreciate how big a flex it was when you can say, hey, hold on a minute, let me click over.
Yeah, I mean, Gen X is like the work.
Can we talk about the wealth in America with respect to the Congo, please? Who wants to talk? Who's next? It's not a troll. It's a question. Who wants to speak on it?
The Congo, as in Congo in Africa?
Yeah, you stupid ass. You don't travel. I can tell.
Oh, so where you been at, Point? Where you been?
What's up, my nigga? What's going on, Slice?
That's a white
Oh.
That's a
I'm
white
sorry, I prefer my races use the ER, not the E.
Your mama's white, bitches.
That's a white girl.
She's not white. I don't know what she.
But yeah,
White back, usually they them. Usually they them.
How did she get up on stage? I promise.
Yeah, bro. I don't think that was a dude.
Is it a dude? I don't think it's. It's a dude.
That's the guy.
What's your address? You can catch this fade, okay?
You know, on everybody's room, and then everybody realizes why.
CJ, stay out of my back channels, you weirdo.
Oh shit.
Not in your back, Carlos. I don't go to.
That tight ass turtleneck. Nobody even wears turtlenecks nowadays.
Hey, CJ's cool.
Yeah,
He doesn't go out anyway. He doesn't go shopping. That's why he doesn't have a girlfriend.
I think it's.
So you can have a girlfriend wearing a turtleneck like that. Loser.
that's the Conquer Cowards, dude. The white one.
I think this turtleneck's pretty cool too. You see that?
Anyway, back to discussing coltan and the Congo and Apple. Let's carry on.
We were discussing.
Yeah, but let's have the real discussion.
Everyone's a complainer.
Because I like matching my iPhone
Everyone's a
with my Apple
complainer.
computer so I can do music and DJ.
Everyone's a
What the fuck I'm doing with a
complainer.
Samsung phone.
You know what, Roy? You got it.
What about the watch, man?
Because actually, Apple does have cornered the market when it comes to producing, DJing. I mean, MacBook just cornered that market, and they haven't let that go for at least 20 years. So I give you all kudos on that, man. You need to be rocking with Apple.
I love Apple. I love it so much. They've got wonderful customer service as well. I spent probably more money with Apple than any other company.
Which I realize y'all are the reason why these
I bet lots
products
of-
are so expensive. They used to be the bastion of the wealthy, and now you can literally find, no disrespect to anyone, any random person with these very expensive products, just like Louis Vuitton and Gucci. So I will continue to remind you that you are the source of your own misery when it comes to it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Mickey. No, that's not
Yeah, but Miki, I think you don't understand. Number one, I'm sorry for the train, y'all. Number one, Apple prices, and I know why they came down. They came down on the pro level. I've always been in the pro level. My first Apple computer, as an adult, was a G4 computer. That's how I got my studio started back in 2002, right? And then I've been just like on different computers since. The only thing I didn't get was the Mac Mini Pro, but I do have a couple of Mac Minis. I have several MacBook Pros. This is what I use to DJ, to produce music. This is what I use. I mean, I never. Did I use what?
Adobe would
No, I use Pro Tools. I pro level stuff. I don't use Audition. I use Pro Tools. And you know, Apple did come up with their Logic Pro 10 and all of that. But I'm still using Pro Tools because it's an efficient system. So yeah, I'm in the pro level, so I gotta use computers like.
I'll post you guys on. We will, but go ahead and ask.
So is it bad that, despite me being a professor, I use an Obama phone?
Actually, Ray
You
started
do what you gotta do.
that. And no, it's
I mean, I
not.
only use it for phone calls. But,
Well, phones are actually a great distraction, so that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, that's probably a great
Um,
thing.
But Royal, the professional in me has to ask, I hope you have an insurance policy on all of that equipment.
I said I'm a pro. Hello.
Yeah, as a creator, I have to use Apple products because they're maximized. If you do audio or video, that's what it's for.
Yeah, it's actually cheaper to use the app. Yeah, even with the video stuff, it's actually cheaper to use an Apple computer, because once you buy the computer, you get all those programs at low cost. My Final Cut Pro cost me about, I had the student plan, even though I'm not a small, yeah, I was a student at that point. The student plan, I got like a whole
makes pretty good stuff.
They don't use like Apple speakers because I mean you got something. What is it, Shenzhen?
You got the only thing about Samsung, only thing about a lot of headphones is they add extra detail, like bass and stuff. If I'm mixing, I don't want none of that. I just want the
I mean like Scherzenhanger or whatever. I don't know how you say it. Those like them is that's the type of stuff I'm into.
Madison, I feel obliged to ask you whether you use Adobe After Effects.
I don't use Adobe After Effects.
Oh no.
I'm a voice actor, so my agency requires me to use Source Connect, and I use the whole Adobe Creative Suite, but I don't need it for After Effects. I mean, I have my own editors and I have my own team, but when I do my individual work, I have a home studio, so I do it there.
Right.
There are requirements when you have an agent.
Okay. Premiere Pro, so you just wouldn't use it?
No, I mean, I might just for like something small, but my major stuff, I have my editor.
What I like is that we just got done talking about monopoly. We're sitting up here justifying and praising Apple for their monopoly practice. That's not a monopoly. We're forgetting.
That's not a monopoly.
No, but their monopolistic practices. Because look at all the stuff that they do.
Adobe.
Yeah, but they're all that stuff is optimized for Apple exclusively.
I was trying to say it actually isn't just for Apple. It's made for business computers, which are mostly Windows in the first place. Here's the crazy thing. Windows computers are perfect for businesses. I use them at work. No, Microsoft is not. Okay.
And Windows.
But y'all don't think that it is monopoly? It's binary.
Apple has
either Windows or Mac.
I think y'all.
Yeah, I like Windows for work and Apple for.
Yeah, a lot of jobs. Like if y'all remember, like the early 2000s, the 90s, like even if you look at just like electronic brands, there were so
trying to figure out the
now
numbers.
it's like
There's a lot of
just like only
patterns
three, like everything. Even if you think
weird
about like how the
numerology
merger with
that gets
Disney,
used to
I don't think that
smear
should have been
people.
allowed to happen. Like that's
And it
way
is a
too
smear.
big to fail.
And as a sexual assault survivor myself, and someone who
Yeah, working
still works
officers are a mere extension of white supremacy, so wake up.
rapists and pedophiles in prison. It is utterly disrespectful to victims and to law enforcement who are actually doing.
Monopoly. That's not necessarily monopoly. When you close your platform so that all of your products work in sync with each other, and then it's easier actually to flip stuff from product to product and machine to machine, and then you create your programs that work with your platform.
Yeah, that's actually not what Apple does. Apple doesn't do that. What they do is they force everything that's not Apple to work. So when they hold on, let me finish. No, yes they do. I'm about to do it right now. I'm about to do it right now. You know when hold on, let me finish. When an Android user sends a picture or video to an Apple user via text or whatever, like they deliberately make it worse quality. So that's why you always talk about jokes like when Android
SMS
does
not support as high quality as iMessage, but actually in iOS 18, there now has RCS, which will give Android and Apple the same quality of images and videos.
Well, a lot of the grains and technology come actually from
And also, when it comes to Apple Pay, they deliberately make the other pay services worse. I mean, they want you to use their stuff, but they make it worse. I'm not making it better. They make others worse. Well, yeah, I'm using that example because you're not going to have Samsung Pay on an Apple product. He's not going to have it.
Why not? They could release it though if they wanted to. They
Right, they could, but they're the direct competitors. They wouldn't do that. Well, Google would have a pay service on both Samsung and Android.
But even outside of
Yeah,
it,
another one can come into it.
you can't change the fact that you can get 8 terabytes on a MacBook Pro. You can't change the fact that the battery can last almost a full 24 hours. So those are things that, other companies just aren't doing as well.
And they don't.
I mean, sure, that's real competition. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I still think that if you look the screens and a lot of the stuff, Samsung actually makes a lot of the screens for iPhone.
Yeah,
They sure do. They can't put the whole thing together. It just doesn't work.
I think the thing is that people have these sophisticated, machines and computers in their hands, and they really don't even use them to their fullest. So it's like, if you don't need all of that stuff, the question is, why do you have it?
Well, the bigger question is, well, wait, what don't I need? Because people are like, this thing exists. I think I might need that at some point.
So a 14 megabit.
Well, I think the more of the question is that when phones changed to smartphones, right? You had so many other options, and now it's pretty much narrowed down to 2 or 3 different choices. So I think that's the we don't really have any options on anything anymore except for cars. That's the only thing I think where it's still options.
But they
And Android, there's a lot of options on Android.
Yeah, but the ones that matter, there's the Samsung and to a lesser extent that not HTC. What is
The HTC is gone.
Using them in the
not the HTC, it's the LG. The Pixel. So yeah, because I worked at Verizon for years. Those as far as what matters is the iPhone, the Galaxy, and the Pixel.
Yeah.
And the Pixel far to a way lesser extent.
But
What about the landline?
That's just in America. We're not taking into account that in China, they have phones that we don't even have access to, and they're far better. Far better than all phones. It's hard to find blue phones here in the United States. And cars.
But I mean, China's like a closed circuit. They got cars that
in
don't
the
have.
United States, and we don't even have an option to even purchase that car in the United States.
I don't want no car from China.
Hey, the quality is just better, and the technology is far better.
No. Japanese people make our cars, and honestly, as far as craftsmanship with cars, they've proven themselves to be far more.
Japanese is proven. Chinese is not proven.
Actually driven them, so what you read ain't what you drive. And
I know. Listen, I'm a car enthusiast. I've seen them the R-Watch or whatever the fucking car is. It's not fucking with anything that the Germans or the Japanese are doing.
I thought that was the name.
I can actually, you know what? I'm gonna go find the SUV that I want to buy, and I'm gonna drop it in the chat. You go look at it. You tell me that there's anything the Germans, the Americans, or anybody else even is remotely close to having those kind of features in the car.
America is not Japan and Germany.
Even remote. Their engines are reliable. Pulling that car, it's not even remote.
Chinese, nothing is reliable.
America, though, their engines are, Hemis are very reliable.
No, they're not. American engines are not reliable. It's not. America is actually known for being unreliable. Japanese cars are, if you want to talk about reliability and longevity, a Japanese motor is going to be the best. The saying is that they sell you a motor that cars that
I'm talking about that.
Are you talking about, BYU or NEO?
that's a lie. My Chevy Pilot got 200,000 miles on it and roll. 200 is not that much.
Yeah, I'm 200,000.
Yeah, that's not really.
That's a lot. Everybody knows not to ask when you buy your car what day it was made on, because everybody in Detroit knows that on Monday morning everybody had a damn hangover, and it's real. And I remember when Toyota was coming on the scene and when Honda was coming on the scene, and we knew that it was going to take over. And I had a Toyota Corolla, blew the engine out, literally blew a hole in the engine. They plugged it up and it kept going. It was something crazy.
They're bulletproof.
Yeah, it never stopped. We gave the car away. I don't know, like five different people, and I don't even know what happened to it. But they lasted so much longer.
people make the fuck out of an engine. Like, nobody is fucking with it. Nobody.
Like, name a car is more reliable.
Everything they do is forged internals. Like, if their engines are, they're lightweight. They just know how to do it.
Why?
It's a lot of miles, but when you got a Honda that has 1 million miles on it, several of them,
That's what I'm saying. Name a car that's more reliable than a Honda Civic.
Why has the American engine fallen by the wayside when it comes to, why has the quality of American, because American used to make really good cars back in the day. My folks have a couple of old school cars and they were talking about that, and I said, I don't know. A lot of the cars today are this plastic body or whatever you want to call it. It's not real metal, so my folks said,
They don't want metal.
it's cheaper to use the fiberglass.
you said what?
No, it's not. You don't want a metal box that you'll die in there.
If you heard the
Like you want your car to crumble up.
fiberglass cars is cracking and everything.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
That's my
Yeah, we got in a wreck. We lived. Our car didn't tear up. Our car was a metal car when our folks got in a wreck. That car that got tore up, that was our car.
Fine, but people are not with that.
Whoever brought up the China car or Chinese cars, the electric, they do have the top of line, like Neo
Wow.
and BYD. They do.
Most of Tesla was actually made in China, isn't it?
Those cars talk to you as well. It's fucking crazy.
You can't
BYD was
you know everything, Patty. And I'm trying to tell these people I drove those cars. And
right.
They don't argue with you.
It's just like it's just like a Daewoo phone. When you get it, and at first it got all the bells and whistles. Talk to me in 2 months. That shit is gonna be on the floor.
No, we just talking about electric. So when it's electric, it's electric. It's a battery powered.
And JetBlue is allowed in America. I'm not talking about anything that's allowed in America. The cars that are actually really nice, they don't allow them to be sold in America. So you're talking about that's allowed in America. I'm talking about cars that don't
And then even if you look at the Hyundais that they make in China, not China, in Korea, it's nothing like the ones that they have in America. Like if you go to South Korea, their fucking version of what you see as a Hyundai, they have this luxury one, looks just like it's fucking amazing, guys. Like,
Is one of their top countries.
Even with
They've been making cars of that level in Korea. I mean, Korea, South Korea, cool. I'm just, for me, as being a car person, knowing about Chinese products, they might be cute, they might be, real flash. I would not buy it. No.
look.
Yeah, I'd have to
Are
say.
you on a coke binge, sir? Don't you know that there's socialism and socialist policy in the United States of America? Why do you pretend? And this is my problem with the capitalism versus.
You mean like Social Security? You mean we have Social Security?
Or Medicaid? And it's wild.
Public schools.
You know what FICA stands for? It's an insurance policy, which was.
What's the insurance policy? Can you run that back again, sir?
You have to go read that link right there.
What's the insurance policy? I'm sorry.
Because I like to read.
Created
Alan, what's the insurance policy?
companies, and the left is suddenly
Just the news.com, really small.
socialist policy. No.
Yeah, just look up the reporter.
Yeah.
Come again, Alan.
Try again, sir.
Yeah, look at the reporter. 5 times.
I posted something for the Mayo Clinic, fam. You put
Yeah,
just
this
the
is
news.com.
2024.
Try.
Yeah. Update your news. Pharmaceutical company finances campaign to kill medicines that are in circulation.
Look at the actual investigator.
Yeah,
You can't question her.
Yeah,
She's been around for a long time.
News.com, they're reliable.
Yeah, so that's an ad hominem. Look at the reporter.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's
That's what I'm talking about. Pharmaceutical big money, killing out challenger or killing out all competition. Pharmaceutical companies front loading all the ads, all the hit ads.
Which is funny because pharmaceutical companies don't make hydrochloroquine. Yeah.
Dumb. If they're promoting Remdesivir, they're the ones who finance Remdesivir, so they can back. So this is what they do, right? So they create a new medicine. They finance the positive ads about Remdesivir, and then that one takes the place of all the cheaper ones that's been around forever, like a malaria drug called hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin, right? Like these medicines are super cheap because they've been along they've been along the ride for a long time.
Yeah, so
they bring this new shit.
So
Right?
Right, you're right. Instead of hijacking the government, because the government pays for these medicines, right? Instead of hijacking them,
the pharmaceutical companies.
Instead of because the government pays for these drugs, right? These vaccines, right? So
the advertisements, bro. The advertisements.
The ad money that they made money off of.
Yeah, don't you remember I was talking about Mark Zuckerberg?
So they made money off the ads, not the drugs.
No, they're the ones who promoted the positive. Facebook, right?
I'm saying.
Let me just say what I'm saying so that you can just at least address it.
I'm trying to flesh out what you're saying.
Yeah, so I'm saying that Mark Zuckerberg. So relax.
Wait. No, you
relax. Why don't I just say it so that we don't have to repeat each other?
Because you're gonna repeat yourself 7 times, right?
I'm gonna say it once if you could just be quiet.
Go ahead. Say it one time.
So Mark Zuckerberg came out and said that he regrets being pressured by the Joe Biden administration for censoring COVID-19. On Facebook at the same exact time, the pharmaceutical ads like Pfizer, Moderna, and all these pharmaceutical companies were paying millions and millions of dollars to push Remdesivir. Okay? Remdesivir is what was promoted, and then all of the controllers through Facebook, whenever hydroxychloroquine came up, whenever ivermectin came up, whenever these things came up, they would kill it immediately. So then that would make everybody believe that that's bullshit, and this is the golden grail, or the eternal grail. There you go. The holy grail.
So the pharmaceutical companies that make hydrochloroquine, right? Instead of, they wanted to promote the new drug, you said it's more expensive, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So instead of, because hydrochloroquine was an actual cure, right? So instead of promoting the old drug, because of demand, they could certainly make a ton of money off of it for demand alone.
You just read the article, bro.
I'm asking a question, Simone. So instead of promoting their old drug, hydrochloroquine, because there'd be a global demand for the cure, right, and making billions of dollars off that, let's make a whole new drug and make billions of dollars off that one instead.
No. So I would say this. I would say Pepsi Cola has hydroxychloroquine, right? And then Coca-Cola has all the money, and they want to kill that market. So then they bring up something called Remdesivir, a new flavor for Coke. They run negative ads about hydrochloroquine, and they run positive ads of their new brand. And that's exactly, and if you pointed out, all the investigators that they're talking about, everybody
now you're saying that one pharmaceutical company just simply was more powerful than all pharmaceutical companies, and they were able to take over.
Yeah, this is pretty stupid. It's pretty clear what happened, bro.
You're right.
Mark Zuckerberg sees it. Everybody sees it. He apologized for it.
Yep, he did.
That's the way that it goes, bro.
It's
Come on,
the way
man.
it goes.
Right, so now you niggas got the ad that you niggas don't read, right?
Yeah.
It's proof that you niggas don't read. I gave you the ad. And then Matt asked the question. He says, what have we done for Central America? Well, we give them an annual...
Mr. Finney, you got backed up, bro. That's all it is.
I didn't get backed up. I just conceded.
We give them an annual allowance. But notice how when Matt acknowledges that we give him an annual allowance, he says, but, and here goes the insert narrative, but they're giving it to drug dealers, so they're going to misuse the funds, and then they're extorting people, and then they're laundering money. That's not really helping them. America made an agreement with the government of these 3 triangle countries, and they said, we'll do this if you do that. They said, okay, what they do with the money is what they do with the money. Why are we bogged down by that? That sounds stupid as fuck, bro.
No, what sounds stupid is y'all sound stupid because you don't understand geopolitics. Hydrochloroquine is not a freaking cure for COVID. And Matt said, what good have they done? He asked him a direct question specifically because we all know if you give money to corrupt people, they're going to do corrupt things with it. That's like saying what has the mayor done to help the poor neighborhood, right?
How do you know the corrupt?
He gave money to the slumlord. He gave money to the slumlords, right? That's not really doing anything for the people in the community. It's just ritual.
How do you know the corrupt?
That's accepting.
So then we should stop all those food assistance programs because clearly we still have people like starving. We should actually stop those homelessness programs that exist under both state and federal governments, and we should actually end those since it's not actually helping, and we're aware that 60+% of all those programs, that money's tied up in administrative.
We absolutely should end. Now you're pivoting. Now you're pivoting to a different
program. Not exactly. So those food assistance program, and that's why I said charity itself is a business. When you feed somebody, you're actually killing the agricultural output. Now you're making sure that they cannot feed themselves and they become dependent on you. You didn't actually do something good for them because now in the future, hold on, it's not a narrative because I'm going to give you a case study, right? Now, in the future, you get to cut off their food supply when they don't do what you ask them to do. Now, case in point, we're going to look at Haiti and how Bill Clinton, who apologized for that policy, killed the Haitian agricultural output in 1994 under a contract, right, when they killed the rice market. Now, this is well publicized. It's been done to many countries around Central and South America. This is why we say the USAID is not exactly an aid program. It is put on top of you so that you can do what they need to do. They destroy your market, provide you with food, so now you can no longer feed yourself. It's not aid. That's not aid. It's not a good thing. It's a tool for imperialism.
So, okay, yeah, I'm okay with American imperialism.
Then say that. Then that's fine.
I have said it. I just fucking said it. What more do you want? So,
don't say that they do something good, because it's not something good.
They do. They actually do. And the state of Haiti prior to 1994 was a fucking shithole. It was a shithole back then. It has never been a positive fucking change since its freedom. It has never had a cohesive government. It has never actually had a productive government, which is why everybody fucking flees that country and then bitches about poor Haiti, even though they don't fucking live there. So if it's so...
Well, we're not gonna get into that because it will take everybody's time, but Brad, you are not well educated in the plight of Haiti.
I am actually well educated.
I'm sorry.
Have you lived down that way? Have you lived in the Caribbean? No, you haven't.
I have.
But you're fucking Indian ass that's immigrated to America all of a sudden knows everything about the geopolitical structures that exist in the Caribbean.
I'm Haitian.
I was just about to say, Matt is Haitian. Like, he knows a little bit about his country. Just a little bit.
Well, then I'll apologize to your Haitian ass.
That's pretty rare. That's impressive.
I guess I get it, and once again, if you are for imperialism and you are for what the United States is doing, I'm okay with that. But we don't have to make it up as if the United States is this benevolent, imperialist is going around doing good, when the contrary is actually very evident.
But I never made that argument.
No, Allen did. Allen said that the U.S. is doing good stuff and that, quote unquote, payback, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Allen, you're not. The U.S. is not doing good stuff for for these people. The top of the people get all the benefit because that's the only people the U.S. do favors to. The people that can keep the masses in check. That's it. The masses doesn't get anything. So when the masses doesn't get anything, they move to greener pastures. Yeah, guess what El Dorado is? The United States is El Dorado. No, it's not subjective. If you ever spoke with any immigrant, they would tell you that, bro.
Cannot impede on somebody's sovereign right.
Are you serious, someone? You cannot impede. What?
All we could do is negotiate. Like the Biden administration, they picked up the amount of money that they were incentivizing and building businesses. And they have their own construct there in El Salvador and
all you gotta do is name a business that the U.S. built in Central America. Name one.
Bro, the Biden administration just pushed it out. Another link?
Okay, go ahead, name one.
Are we doing
a link?
Are we
doing
a
link? Yes.
Stupid, bro. Do your own reading.
Exactly. You can't prove me wrong. And I'm asking you to back up what you said.
No, bro.
No, but I'm asking you to back
I have to.
I want you to back up what you say.
It's a manipulative.
We all know, no, it's not. In Chillism, we back up what we say with like, you know that very well.
Bro.
You were, when you weren't sure about that little pharmaceutical thing, you went and got the link. Now all of a sudden, you can't put a link up.
Whenever you guys talk, all right, how about this one? How about this one?
How about this?
Where is the link about the Venezuelan thing you were just talking about?
Which Venezuelan thing? The coup d'etat? Okay, hold on. I'll put the link.
Yeah, good. Now that he's quiet, let's talk about something else.
Wait.
So,
No, I just wanted to address
what?
Did you get the hydroxychloroquine?
So,
Yeah.
so I posted a very bad source though. It's like
I want to see it.
News Today or something like
Yeah,
that.
hold on, man.
He didn't post it like a legit source.
This is stupid, bro. Just be
There's
quiet,
a ton
man.
of,
If you're not gonna look up,
there's a ton of
Oh my
colleges
God.
and medical journals that you can post from that are legit.
if you're not gonna,
review, but you didn't report. You didn't post
hold
none
on.
of that stuff.
Is
The
it
claim that I,
just the news source?
yeah, the claim that I made right there
It's
one
not
of my
it's not a
times.
legit source.
There are, just shut up. There's investigative reporters that have some cachet. They have a reputation. This woman has a reputation, bro. And what she's saying is exactly what I'm saying. That there were pharmaceutical companies that were financing other people that were killing stories about hydroxychloroquine and the ivermectin. They were killing these stories because they wanted to platform remdesivir. But what the fuck is the problem?
Post a legit source that says hydrochloroquine
That is
is a cure.
Alright, I'm not even dealing with niggas that don't read.
So,
Post a legit source that says hydrochloroquine is a cure.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know if you remember the original argument. So the original argument was actually about the Democrats leaning towards being more authoritarian. That's
Right.
the whole original argument. And then Simone made 3 examples of things they're trying to do to silence specific speakers, specific articles being published. And he gave the example of Mark Zuckerberg. He made an apology letter saying how he did get pressure from the Joe Biden/Harris administration about flagging specific articles from even being released, from people seeing it, that it wasn't available to the public, which was a restriction of free speech. That was the whole topic. So when he brought up the hydrochloroquine thing, he was saying that was one of the examples of things that were being restricted from being viewed. That's all he had to prove.
Okay,
that's
so
all.
agree
Yeah,
with that.
that's
They were restricting-
all.
they were restricting
That's it. That was
speech
it.
on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Whether it's a cure, not a cure, that's the whole topic.
Okay,
The
so
whole thing was about restriction. About restriction from the
So
public.
they were restricting the fake news type report. But okay, that's great. Thank
Matt,
you for clarifying that, now.
Matt, do you read the links that we provide you? Because I provided you one from Glenn Lowry's interview about redlining, and I didn't know if you saw it because I posted it when you requested it. And
She trying to say you can't read.
I want to get your opinion about it.
Oh, no, I haven't read it yet, because I'm actually interested in understanding how redlining impacted white people, so that's just, my own little personal thing. But I would definitely read it and understand it.
You found it? You still have it? You copied it from when I posted it? You need me to post it for the
No,
third
it was
time?
a tactic to shut you up, Monica.
No, that's not what it, it's actually what, that's not, Samoa, you are interjecting on something you have no idea. We were having a
It was a
conversation,
joke,
and I was just curious about the reasoning behind that, so that's all. I just wanted it for my own educational purposes. But I got a link for you in the chat, go check it out.
So you have it when I send it to you, or you need me to send it?
Oh, no, if you can put it again so I can copy the link real quick, Monica, I really appreciate it.
I'll just put it in your back channel, I think, that way you won't lose it in the active chat.
All right, thank you very much.
No pause? Nothing?
So Matt, you a full-time miner or they just mine you on Saturdays? Is you full-time man?
I don't know what's happening, bro. I just show up and then do my thing. I don't know how to do this modding thing.
Man, I appreciate it.
So my favorite moment was
a real black person.
My favorite moment was on Wednesday. Matt was getting this double team. It was 2v1. I heard Matt yell, "Mods! Is anybody gonna moderate this?" And he had agreed me, and I was just dying.
Hey, that shit was funny, bro. Was that the one with on everybody. I was like, oh, come on, man, that's crazy. I just wanted the ISO.
Some more. I mean, Norm is
Bro, I cleared this page so you and Norm can have a one-on-one, bro. Come on.
Hey, just curious, Mr. Finley and MJ, I heard you guys talking a little bit about capitalism. I know there's other people in the room too that are interested. When you, this is my opinion, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like there is some sort of maybe uncomfortability with capitalism that I hear in your voices. So my question is, are you saying capitalism as it's economically and theoretically understood? Are you referring to the crony capitalism, which the United States is because we're a mixed economy of half socialism and half capitalism? Or are you attacking like just actual private property, just out of curiosity?
So the American capitalistic system is definitely a crony capitalist system. I don't know how you could not have capitalism without regulation, because capitalism would ultimately lead to unfettered capitalism would ultimately lead to a bunch of monopolies, right? We've seen that in the past, right? In their current capitalistic system, because capitalists have figured out how to buy the government, essentially. I'm being hyperbolic for a reason. Our current system is very much freaking rigged. It is a rigged system. There's been multiple studies by liberals and conservatives that talk about policy passage, and it's basically, and this is an oversimplification of the study, but it says that if the people want something, the chances of it passing are less than 10%, right? People overwhelmingly, right? They use that chart where they go public support versus actual passage, and it doesn't matter what the public support is, the chance of actual passage of policy is low. But with respect to businesses, the more support there, it raises up quite a bit, right? But with respect to if businesses don't want something, the chance of it not happening double, right? And so it just basically shows that the capitalists run our government, and they have rigged it. And I don't want to be too long with it. I'll end with this point. With respect to things like regulation, allow the regulation that disproportionately affects individuals and small businesses are written by large corporations with the aid of freaking Congress and local politicians. It's literally written by them, right? And so they rig it in favor of the little guy. All the while it's telling us that it's government's problem, the regulation is government's fault, and the other side says I'm speaking for the little guy. You can kind of flip the parties and which one makes the message. That's my problem with capitalism in a nutshell.
So, again, this goes back to the further policies of Citizens United and allowing unions to have, particularly nationalized unions, to have control over the economic system for their best interests, including, very proponent lobbyists that sit there, people don't understand the sugar lobbies. They don't understand a lot of these things, which is why we need to actually start looking at this. And some of what Trump campaigns on, Schedule F, that should be a clear, concise thing of saying, hey, you know what? I do have a problem with these lobbyists having unfettered access and the ability to have legislation written in their fashions because of these 55,000 employees that are permanent in our Washington seat for 30 fucking years, just basically going through and saying, hey, we're going to make sure these all carve-outs are in there for these proper things. And they're all at the behest of all these massive ones. Again, I'm for capitalism, and some of what B. Master says is correct. But the idea that somehow we're going to allow this without regulation, I agree with you. I'm a capitalist, but I do believe in a mixed economy because, again, like Theodore Roosevelt said, hey, it would be great if these companies actually acted ethically, but at this time, they haven't figured out where their moral compass is, so let's make sure that we show them the direction that the American people want to go. And that's where we should be looking at in terms of getting to capitalism, or at least having a free-based economy that can actually help benefit the American people. But basically, we allow the politicians to have a stranglehold while they virtue signaling on the left and the right that, all of this is due to X, Y, and Z. And we're still sitting there going, oh, yeah, this is definitely right. But, people don't really want to have that in them.
Man, Brad, I agree with almost everything you said there. You're spot on. I want to add this. You want to know why freaking immigration reform hasn't been reformed yet? Because big moneyed interests benefit big time. Just look at what we did here in Florida. Our governor took a hard stance and said, we're going to like the port folks and everybody was clapping hands until the construction industry was affected, and the agriculture business was affected, and then all of a sudden he kind of took a step back and said, "I got to take it because it was affecting the economy." That's the biggest benefactor for our broken immigration system. It's freaking corporate interest, and there are other issues that we have with respect like individuals, but because companies make so much freaking money off of the illegal employees, man, they're not going to push hard for reform.
I think that's interesting. I don't know, and I'd be interested to know if I'm wrong, but when I studied economics in college, when we were going over monopolies, I only ever heard about them, trying to think back, but whenever a monopoly was introduced or talked about, it was because of the government intervention. Like, there was government intervention first. Any type of monopoly that was outside of government was very short-lived because you have to fight all of the competition, because that's what your natural regulator is. That's the bell curve. They say, every company is going to have it's going to follow the bell curve, and that's been consistent, except when government has intervened and then created irregularities that, like for example, AT&T, right? Standard Oil. US Postal Service. But what happened in the beginning?
AT&T, just the same. AT&T followed the same playbook as who were the big three? It was Rockefeller, Carnegie. Who was the railroad guy?
It was the AT&T
Vanderbilt.
became a monopoly.
Vanderbilt, thank you. Those guys had no government assistance in making monopoly. Zero.
But AT&T became a monopoly because it was granted a legal monopoly by the United States.
It was broken up by the government too.
So AT&T.
My point is, AT&T.
Yeah, AT&T supports you, but Standard Oil doesn't.
The Kingsbury Commitment, right, of 1913. That's what it gave the AT&T. It allowed them to be the sole provider of the telephone service. That was AT&T.
But that's one.
But many monopolies are not.
I'm just going to give a few other. U.S. Postal Service. Did someone just say the aluminum?
The Postal Service is not a good one. It's not a good one.
No, I said Standard Oil is not an example of that. Microsoft is not an example of that. There are many monopolies that have occurred without the government intervening. They're not. If somebody taught you that in your economics class, I don't think they did their job. That they all come from government intervention. They don't all come from government intervention.
U.S. Postal Service, like old
That's not a fair one.
I'm saying that it was.
I'm not saying none of them do.
Government intervened where regulation.
I'm not saying none of them did, but even if you could find examples of it, E-Master, it doesn't mean that what you're saying is generally true. And what I'm trying to tell you is it's not. I'm trying to say there are plenty of counterexamples. There are plenty of monopolies that occur without government intervention. There are so-called natural monopolies.
Could you list them? I'd be interested.
Rockefeller,
Microsoft, Standard Oil, Google is another example. All right, all of these have occurred without government intervention. And it's because there are some markets where there are huge benefits, huge network effects, or the entrants in the market are just so completely incompetent that the other people can buy them up and run them out. It just sometimes happens. And once they buy them up and run them out, okay, they have a lot of control. And that isn't always bad for consumers. Actually, there's an argument to be made that Standard Oil was good for consumers in many, many ways. And it was only when Standard Oil started to take control of the railroads and make small businesses very mad because of the railroad rates that were being set, that, finally the government turns on Standard Oil and does something about it. But it's not clear that was bad for consumers either, because they got what they wanted. Mostly what consumers wanted at that time was very cheap oil to heat their homes, which they needed, and they got it. That was what Rockefeller was doing by manipulating the railroads was like forcing them to let him send oil for cheap and sell it for cheap all over the country. So like there are natural monopolies, they sometimes happen, and sometimes they're beneficial to consumers. They're not always bad for consumers.
Absolutely. The UPS itself was, it's actually outlined as part of our congressional duties in our government. It's Section 1, our Article 1, Section 8 of our Constitution, that the Congress is actually supposed to create this, maintain this, and manage it. It's the only private industry that exists within our government that they seemingly fuck up repeatedly. But at the end of the day, that's an actual duty that the government has to have. It's not a monopoly on itself. It's supposed to do that. We directed it that way. We made sure they were responsible for it. I mean, there are some things that we do want our government to handle. If you want to say, now I want to take the Postal Service from the government and put it into private hands, that's a whole different discussion. But the government is not a monopoly on it because there's a variety of other carriers out there that do delivery service all over the country, and the government does not shut them down. It's just the U.S. Postal Service is actually something under our government that they're supposed to do.
And all Jason did was say, sometimes monopolies aren't bad repeatedly, right? He said that there was a monopoly that existed, customers wanted cheap oil, they got cheap oil, monopolies aren't always bad, right? That's not actually evidence, it's just a claim.
No, it's just an example.
Well, it's just a claim along with some data points. Obviously, people want cheaper oil, and obviously cheaper oil isn't going to be like the cheapest because there's one fucking person supplying it. That's dumb as shit. Obviously, the cheapness is going to come from the fact that multiple people competing for business are going to drive down prices. Now, for some strange reason, Jason wants to think that principle of competition doesn't apply in a fucking monopoly where it's not necessary for there to have drop in prices. Obviously, that's not the case. So no, monopolies aren't good and beneficial to the fucking consumer. That's fucking crazy.
Well, I offered an example. Okay, one example is not proof, but I think in your economics class, B-Master, they would have taught you that there are natural monopolies, A, and they would have taught you, B, that there are monopolies that are not harmful to consumers, that there are monopolies that are efficient, and they are so efficient relative to other alternative arrangements that it works out for the best for consumers.
The only thing they tell
and
you
that is what, look, Concrete, you had a chance. And that is why you see this idea in the context of monopoly regulation that we're supposed to look to consumer harm to decide whether or not to break up a monopoly. It's not enough to say there's a monopoly because they are not always bad. They do, in many cases, drive massive efficiencies in the economy.
You're just repeating the claim again without any evidence. Fucking it.
Real quick, a good example of what he's talking about, because multiple different like states got like different power companies, and here we only got one, right? And the reason why we got one is because that the other power companies that used to be here couldn't officially like service people. They didn't have certain departments and shit like that actually help with like the quality of and shit. So just chill. Well, I didn't hear what you said.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was saying, are you talking about We Energy?
Yeah. We Energies. And now they starting to service people across state lines in the upper Michigan Peninsula. But it was like a good thing because they was like the best, company in the state, and they just absorbed everything like, hey, Chico. They just absorbing everything like that was like the bad companies around at the whole time. So it was better quality. It needed to happen.
Yeah, but y'all rates are getting crazy, and that monopoly is not good because like
it's starting to not be good now. It's right, but that's like a now thing in our state taxes and that got something to do with our growth, and they have it like
yeah, what happens is
with multiple companies. We have multiple companies, but they split up the territory. So it's not like they're competing with each other. Not like I don't have a choice between Duke and like Tico or like OIC, right? It's like this is a prime example of monopoly being like bad. That's why I want to deal with them. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, thanks. All I was gonna say is what competitors do is like imagine you're the big dog and there's these other upstarts, AT&T versus fucking whatever was the upstarts. The big dog can say, hey, I could probably run at a deficit for a couple of years because I'm so strong and so fucking powerful and knock out my competition. In which case, they start dropping their prices. They got the better quality, right? Because they're the big dog. And they drop their prices. They drop their prices. The competitors can't survive. They buy them. Then they fucking infuse them with capital. And boom. Now they can ratchet back up the prices.
In fact, it even happens in oligopolies too. Situations where a few players control the market.
Oh, you talking about oligopolies?
That's what I'm referring to, oligopolies, yeah.
Yeah, oligopoly. Yeah.
Airlines.
I haven't heard of it.
It's actually pronounced oligopoly.
Is that your Greek?
Airlines, cough. Phones, cough. Internet providers, cough.
Yeah, those are oligopolies.
You want to know what? Hold on. You want to know what monopolies they end up being good, but then it like really went bad and shit like that. Nigga, and it's my favorite monopoly too. Nigga, the WWE, nigga, Vince McMahon was a motherfucking goddamn Stone Cold Savage.
NFL, NBA,
NFL, you know, but it's kind of,
you know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what it is. So, the big dog is always gonna have the cleaner trucks, the nicest uniforms. He's gonna have more staff. He's gonna be more responsible, better customer service. Why? Because he has more money. He has more money to do all of those things that you want as, creature comforts, whatever. And so the upstart, they don't have it like he has it. And so they might care about you. They might be willing to give you a better price, but that service is gonna suffer. That coverage is gonna suffer, and you're just gonna be turned off and not want to fuck with them. Because what happens is consumers will pay a little bit more for a little bit more convenience. You know what I mean? So the low price leader isn't always gonna win. There's so many other factors besides having a low price. Like we see.
But concrete, if I have, like, for example, and I know that I shouldn't do this, but I rarely see airlines all the time. But if you have the majority of the market, you and two other players, right? The service don't matter. Because what choice do you have? You don't have no choice.
Well, that's short-sighted, though.
It matters. It will matter to some of the most valuable contracts. It will matter to some of the most valuable consumers, and it will matter to big consumers. And that can be a problem for airlines. Like if business travelers just won't use a certain airline. Like a company will say, look, we're not going to use your airline. We're only going to use these other two. And that can cause business. That can cause business to shift away from them. Well, the other two can. In fact, there's no rules in airlines.
All do the same thing.
Airlines, though, are not like. Well, the fact that they all do the same thing, Mr. Finley, is telling you something else. Okay, which is what is happening with airlines is airlines are all razor-thin margins. They're terrible businesses. They don't capture a lot of the value they create. Most transit businesses don't, actually, which is an interesting side discussion. Because you also can, public transit, bus systems, rail systems, they're all the same, where it's very hard to fund them and run them at anything close. Airlines actually profit. Public service. Airlines frequently go bankrupt.
Right.
They're so they are
very irresponsible. They're very irresponsible.
No, it's because they are very high tech, very expensive businesses, and they run on really low margins, and that's why they are
very irresponsible with their profits.
They don't.
What do you know about airlines, Philly?
It's only 17 mics at one time.
I don't eat airlines.
Yeah, they don't have high profits.
So, Jason, they do. Do you know what airlines do with most of their profits, sir?
Wait, Finley, you would know this.
What do they do with most of their profits?
Let them lay this out.
I want to know what they do with most of their profits. profits, Jason. Well, airlines are doing really
Well, how
well
much
right now.
profit
They're making record profits.
Don't get Jason out of this.
Come on,
I'm just
Jason. What
curious
are they
how
doing?
much
If you want to like have a back and forth, then I'm gonna say what I want to say.
Just
I
answer.
know I don't have to
Jason is
answer.
sensing danger, so is
It
Florida.
might be better. It might
Yeah,
be
Florida,
better.
stop trying to save the white people.
Just it might be better if you just say if you present your evidence.
I don't want to.
No, he wants to
It might be
demonstrate
better.
your ignorance as well.
It might
You
be
can do
better
both.
if you. It might be better if you present your evidence and make your argument all in one go. Otherwise, this is just a confidence trick making me.
Yeah, he wants to show your ignorance. Yes, he wants to show your
That's a
ignorance.
confidence trick.
No, it's demonstrating who has a superior position.
With the industry average at a meager 2.6%. 2.6% profit margins in the airline industry. It's actually not a lot at all. I mean, in gross, it's a lot of money. It's hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars. But like,
Are you factoring in all the Boeing stuff?
Of
Because
course
they're
it's
they're
not.
struggling a lot right now.
And he's all. Dude,
how does that
2.6
go
is
to the profit margins?
2.6 is a
Florida's just trying to save the whites.
money.
2.6, you're on the verge.
Nonprofit margin.
Yeah, you're on the verge of bankruptcy with 2.6.
Yeah.
So
Small profit margin.
and also, a couple of things. Number one, the airlines right now are making.
Well, with government intervention, you can survive on 2.6% profit margins. When government's going to bail you out at every
Because the government
turn.
exactly because
So to be point, government intervention
Yeah,
helps.
but Boeing is a manufacturer, not an airline.
right.
Careful, Finley, you're arguing like a conservative.
Listen, I don't listen, Brad. I'm not trying to consider myself a liberal conservative. I'm liberal conservative. But my point being with the airlines is that during good times are good, right?
I like
Even
that.
the times are good. They put money away for the bad times, right? Airlines don't have to do that because, especially now, because they're so big. If they fail, they have an adverse effect on the economy, so they know the government's going to bail them out. And so what is United?
There's the conservative argument point.
What is United, Delta, Southwest, and American doing right now that they're having record-breaking profits? Not only are they selling a record number of tickets, they're making money off the credit card companies. I told y'all. I think it's 40% of our profit, or it's either 40 or 60 is from freaking credit card, right? So what are they doing right now? They're raking it in, and they're spending the majority of their profits on buybacks, stock buybacks, to inflate their profits and give back to their shareholders instead of putting away for a rainy day. Because they know that when times get rough, y'all are gonna bail them out.
That was deep.
Every freaking time.
It's pretty
That's
deep.
a problem.
Look, Mr. Finley,
That shows
I'm
you.
not
One second,
talking.
Jason. One second, Jason. I started speaking first. Shut up. So that is important because it shows the short-term thinking of a corporation where they're just invested, and this is a common complaint about how leadership is mainly focused on the stock price and how that type of thinking leads to a lot of turnover because the current crew isn't going to be able to keep the stock price high enough to instill confidence until the next crew comes along. And then they're going to say, okay, we'll do it. And meanwhile, all the infrastructure is deteriorating and not being provided for with what is called capital expenditure reserves. And so this is like a recipe for disaster. It's a big deal.
And another reason why the margins are so thin is because right now, again, even during COVID, even before COVID, United was on a spending spree. So was American, buying new planes that they did not freaking have money for. They've also invested billions of dollars into this boom technology, the supersonic flight technology. Money they don't have for technology that's not even freaking realized yet, right? Because they know they can do that. Why? Because who's going to bail them out? Y'all will always bail them out.
Yeah, but
Mr.
real quick,
Look, I waited. Okay, I would like the opportunity to speak. I waited, and I would like my turn. Mr. Finley,
we're all about equity and chillism.
Many other businesses also invest in stuff, and sometimes that stuff doesn't work out, but they don't go bankrupt all the time. The razor-thin profit margins are just a consequence of it being a very hard business. And so when those businesses try to do things that all other kinds of businesses do, like return value to shareholders, invest in the future, buy new capital technology, which is a huge part of that business, okay? They have some of the most expensive capital technology in the world. They fail. And so I don't think with airlines you're looking at an oligopoly, that is scheming against the consumers and fleecing them. Because many different entrants can go into that industry. A lot do, and they try, and they fail. It's a very hard industry that is, I suspect, structurally just pretty bad and is run for the benefit of other industries in the country. And one intuition I can offer for that is to consider that maybe most of the value created by airlines is actually experienced by hotel chains, Disney World, shopping centers. The value created by airlines is in what people do after they get off the plane, and those people don't share any of the value with the airlines. And to see an example of where this actually works, because all transit has this problem, right? Like buses have this problem, trains have this problem. There's one market where the train system actually participates in the benefits, and their train system is actually profitable. And that's the Japanese market. Why? Because in Japan, the long distance train systems, all the train companies get to own real estate around the train station. And they build giant shopping centers. And that's the only way they're able to make money. They don't make money off of the train fares. They make money off of all the shopping and all that kind of stuff. And so I think that, but if we didn't have the airline industry, the government has to bail it out because so many other industries benefit so much from it.
That's false. That's a false dichotomy because both Pan Am and TWA failed for economic reasons. And when they went to the government asking for bailouts and subsidies, which they were already, and they were already receiving pretty much at that time subsidies in a variety of fashions. And the government, like at the time, and I forget who was in charge of that, but they basically said, oh, fuck no, we're not going to bail you out through your poor economic decisions. And they were allowed to collapse that gate. Yep, and allowed to collapse. And guess what? We had other competitors come up and sweep up the markets and exactly what they did. And guess what? Finley is correct on this. American Airlines, who's the other one you mentioned? Whatever, Southwest. They're all following
American Delta, Southwest, and
exactly. They're all following the same economic fucking fortitude that all the CEOs are basically the same. You could have took the Pan Am ones, plopped them in today, and it would have been the same fucking financial decisions that they were making back then that they are today.
Hey, Brad, our CEO is the former American Airlines CEO.
There you go.
What?
And again, and they get bailed out repeatedly, and they get subsidized massively. And then you sit there and say, well, we do need to do this because otherwise it would fail our infrastructure. When clearly we have a history of it. They're not the only two that have major ones that have failed. There's 5 iconic ones that have failed throughout history. They were massive, and they failed, and guess what? Air travel didn't fucking decrease. Air travel went off, and we're still fine today.
Mr. Finley, I have a question for you. You actually taught me, it was through a conversation I think you and Lion had. I mean, it makes sense, but when you just never think about it, it's just something that never hit you. So you were talking about how you have just like as a person who has a CDL, you have a certain amount of hours that you're able to fly, right? And that made me think like, oh, okay, so airports, I'm assuming, are all federally regulated in some way, you know, like Federal Aviation, whatever administration maybe or something like that. My question is, why is it that like something, because I've only been to mostly flown in and out of JFK and like LaGuardia because I'm on the East Coast. Why is it that almost everything is American Airlines and Delta?
Because in an oligopoly system, what they do is what the big four, and I'll say the big four. There's really only 3 global airlines: American, United, Delta. They pretty much they split up the territory. There's 30 what we call Bravo airports in the country. Those are the major airports: your Atlantas, your JFKs, etc. They split them up, and they'll say, "Hey, look, you take this airport, I'll take the other one. We're going to create a hub." So we can maximize that market. We'll still fly planes in there, but you will be the dominant carrier. And they all stake their claim in a different mode. If you go to most cities, you're going to see the majority of either one or two airlines. Because like in oligopoly, they split it up. And as a result, that's how they own those. There's 4 airlines that control 80% of the market. And when the Spirits come along, or the Breezes come along, that try to be low-cost carriers that compete, they can't. Because Concrete brought up a great example. Like certain routes that are very popular, the most popular international route in the world is London to Europe, right? That route, right? So when JetBlue tried to compete with that route, what the other big three did was they lowered their prices. Because when JetBlue started doing it, JetBlue's prices were lower. So what did the other big three do? They lowered the prices so that JetBlue couldn't compete, therefore driving the customers back to the big boy on the block and moving them out. Well, until government regulators came in and said you can't do that. But that's another story. But that's my biggest problem with the airline. They're not responsible, and they hog it, and it's trash for customers.
So then it's not, are they or are they not, like, are the trade routes, it's not a trade route, what are they called? Flight routes. Are the flight routes federally regulated, or are they then operated by the air flights? I thought
They
like.
are. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just, I'm curious.
Finley,
I thought
I
that
would like to-
like, when.
They are regulated,
When
but
like
it's
an
like.
airplane lands, I don't know a lot about this stuff. I just watch my dad watch all this stupid airplane stuff. What are they called? Landing slots or something like that?
Runways?
Are you talking about runways?
Runways?
No, like when you watch those movies about the airplanes that fucked up and then crashed, and
You mean
then
like
my dad's
disasters?
like obsessed with them. He
Like
talks
airplane
about
disasters?
yeah, like right when you watch
like
those.
Mentor
My dad's,
Pilot does a lot of
obsessed.
them.
Right, so like they're
Yeah,
like
I actually love watching those myself.
so like what I'm saying is that when the airplanes come in, they're allowed to come in on certain times and certain times and days out. Like they get a mandated spot.
Right, but
Yes,
that's
that-
coordinated. That's coordinated by the logistics of the airline, not necessarily the FAA.
But I mean like I know they're just saying that, but I don't know if that makes sense. Because then you're saying like it's the airlines like an air like where they're able like the international, like you were just talking about the international flight routes, right? If any plane was allowed to fly at any time, then why wouldn't other little companies, other airlines come in? And it's the reason why they can't come in and like land at 5 o'clock at JFK.
So
because that's
what you don't realize is when Europeans come here, most of them have a shitload of money back home. So they already come with money.
I'm talking about the illegal immigrants that they got up in hotels that they just passed a bill in California to give them $150,000 so they could buy a new home.
Yeah, people do it, right? Look at the chat. I just posted something. There's a whole bunch of channels on YouTube like this too, right? Okay. Right? These people get luxury houses, luxury apartments, like talking about they Boston up and everything else on Section 8. It's been happening for years in America. American citizens have been getting these resources. This lady got a whole channel dedicated to how to finesse the system. Just like you gotta realize, the people bitching about the immigrants finessing the system are part of the group of people that don't believe in finessing the system. But the system was made to be finessed. I hate to say it, it was. It was made to be finessed. Well, I call it utilize. Utilize what's available.
Damn, dog, she got a whole PhD 101 class on how to get Section 8 fast.
This has existed for decades.
So you saying that they just got there slow and the illegal immigrants is getting theirs up front?
Citizens are making the biggest think about it because the news ain't broadcasting it. The immigrants coming over here are getting the same shit as she's found. You know what I'm saying? But they get it upon first arrival.
Did you hear that story about about what's going on in Denver? How they took over like 2 apartment complexes and they kick everybody out.
Yep.
And anybody that's left in there, they charging them rent. I was like, in the United States? Wow. And the local law enforcement is not doing nothing. They're just letting this Venezuelan gang just take over 2 apartment complexes like Judge Dredd and shit. Judge Dredd style. They own the whole building. They got dudes outside with guns. They shot Trayvon Riley, though. Y'all heard that story about it? You heard it? Wait, what you say, Uncle?
You're not gonna do shit about it.
They're not doing shit about it. Them dudes still there. People are talking about it, you know, making YouTube videos about it. But them dudes is showing them what's what.
About it. The feds are building a case. Don't worry. The feds are building a complete profile, a complete case on it. They're tracking that gang that came in. Pretty soon you're gonna see hundreds of them get indicted at one time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll happen if Trump gets in. If Trump don't get in, I don't think that's gonna happen.
It happens with all the new gangs. The Haitian gangs, they do the same shit, the Soul Pound, the Mexican Mafia, they do it to all the gangs.
Are they gonna deport them back to Venezuela?
They did that to the 18th Street in El Salvador. And that's 13s, all of them. They all got greenlit by the government. They're all getting deported.
Okay. Well, we see because they got sanctuary cities and they don't let ICE come up in there. So
that might be a problem.
Don't worry though. When enough Americans get their back against the wall, they don't see. The people who's gonna hurt the most, Black Americans. We're mainly the people that live in those poor neighborhoods.
That shit is just wild to me how blatantly they doing it. Like right in your face.
They're still voting for them.
Exactly.
Black people deserve it. They said we vote against our own best interest.
I just think
that Democrat. You don't gotta live around the poor people.
That's what they think. But if I know how them people operate, those people gonna start kidnapping children, and they're gonna be kidnapping those rich people children for ransom.
They're gonna mainly kidnap the people who they're in the vicinity of. It's gonna be poor people's kids.
Poor people ain't got no money.
Rich people ain't living. Rich people don't live in those neighborhoods.
They're gonna start off with the extortion, which is what they usually do, like what the Italians did. They start off with extortion and with their own people, but ultimately they start facing outward. They do start facing outward and start, I feel so sorry for them black gangs because they about to catch hell here in a minute.
It's not the first time it's happened in America, though, bro. Black gangs have withstood a whole bunch of other gangs already coming in. You hear what I just said? In S-13, a bunch of other gangs have already came in. You feel me? It's not the first time in American history this shit's happened.
I'm not talking about. I mean, I get what you're saying that they survived it, but they didn't survive it unscathed. like even now in places like California, when those black gangs and the Mexican gangs get into beefs, the black gangs target the Mexican gang members.
This played out in California, for example, right? In S-13, there was a Salvadorian and shit, right? Salvadorians and Guatemalans and shit, right? They came over. These guys first with the Mexicans, right? The Mexican mafia and them, right? They're beefing heavy with the Mexicans. What the Mexicans did, once a lot of the Salvadorians started going to prisons, the Mexicans brought it to them. They was over there stabbing up those Salvadorians, cutting them up, killing them, slicing them, right, whatever else, right? We started trickling them back to the streets. So the Mexicans started cleaning up shop, basically. So what they forced the Salvadorians to do was to basically be a part of them. So now the Salvadorians had to pay taxes to the Mexicans. You feel me? The Salvadorians, the Guatemalans and all them, they had to pick up the 13 and they had to start paying taxes to the Mexicans. So therefore they became a part of their gangs. You feel what I'm saying? So therefore, you feel me? They've been out there on the streets. When they went back to the streets, they started letting Mexicans also into their gang. So they started just becoming more Latino central versus just being a Salvadorian central. So the same thing's going to happen with the Venezuelans. What they're going to do is they're going to get engulfed and enveloped by all the other Latinos, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Cubans, the Latin kings and all them. They're going to start taking it to the Venezuelans, but then eventually the Venezuelans are going to bow down and they're going to become a part of the Latin kings and everything else. Or if they come to California, they're going to be part of the Mexican mafia. They're going to be Venezuela 13. They're going to adopt the 13. Trust me on that. That's not happened before. That's not always happens. The black gangs are still going to be trucking along being black gangs. That works. Played out many times before, for now.
So you think that's what's gonna happen in places like Denver and Chicago?
Yep. Chicago for sure. Denver, I don't know really the gang culture in Denver, but Chicago for sure, New York for sure, California for sure. Anywhere where there's a history of gang culture,
Precisely. All I'm saying is this: those gangs, they practice in their country a different type of criminality. You know what I'm saying? Well, now Salvadorians, the Guatemalans, the Mexicans. So after the first wave of them gets kind of humbled, the second wave of them, they assimilate. Okay, for that matter. You go to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's grimy. Puerto Rico's crazy in Puerto Rico, but come to America, not crack down on a lot of the shit that they was doing over here in America. They're cracked down. Same thing with Haiti. Back when the Haitian gangs was over here running Florida, the soap pound shit, they was going crazy. Bodies on top of bodies are littered all over the streets. Once the government cracked down on it, you don't see it no more. Hey. All I'm saying is they do different type of crimes. I know. That include kidnapping. Okay, all right, cool. I got it. Kids, look at the eat hearts. I know what kind of crime you're talking about, brother. Oh shit, he left. That motherfucker do grimy shit. Not the only group of people that does shit like that.
Damn, what happened?
I don't know. I didn't get ready that moment in a minute. Did you have something? Welcome on.
Damn, that shit was just so anticlimactic. Nigga just love.
Yeah. So welcome up. Nice to meet you. Oh, it's been good. It's been smooth. You know, it's just relaxing. Oh, no. I ain't smoking or drinking on nothing. I'm actually over here folding towels. So, man. Huh?
I said you definitely need a little distraction type shit.
Yeah.
Get your mind off it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I hate doing that down laundry. That's it for life.
Yeah, I don't like doing laundry either. I don't mind linens too much. I don't mind folding linens and stuff. Clothes, I try to wash as often as possible so I don't have to.
No, especially when you got a lot of clothes, man. That shit.
Word.
That shit is so annoying.
Man, that's why I try to stay on it. I don't like that. Having a bunch of shit to put away.
But I just got to the point where I got tired of hanging my shit up. I just started reorganizing after it. It's like I got to the point where I had so much clothes that I couldn't even find the shit I wanted to wear.
Ah, dang.
Yeah, you feel me? So it wanted that run no more.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I'm the type of nigga, I have 4 different colors of the same shirt. Like a regular.
I know people like you.
No. Gotta switch it up on y'all niggas. It's the same shit. Old to me, new to you type shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alright guys, I'm done. What's going on?
What?
I was attacking some people in some other room.
Oh shit.
Well, if they follow me, don't invite them up. Just
How do I know who it is?
I'll just put in
You
emojis.
gotta give me a signal. What you gonna put the exclamation point emoji? Alert.
Oh, this nigga opened another room.
Who, Uncle did?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Hey T, why you thirsty? You PTR.
Don't pay me.
Alright, my bad.
Nigga said I'm thirsty. That's crazy. I don't know if you're talking about that. I just see a picture of people standing. I don't know what message to get up on that.
Well, I don't even know what the fuck to respond to that.
They just like to fuck with people.
I could tell.
Well, there's so many idiots, Sandra. There's just so many, and I just like, I don't know.
It looks like that, like a monkey colony going on or something.
Why don't you join, T?
Yeah, it's Tay.
No, man.
Is it Tay?
I ain't y'all niggas.
I think it's Tay.
I'm the house nigga in this area.
Come on, man. We'll make you mine.
Nah, niggas trying to turn me out. I ain't trying to talk to that.
They believes in evolution.
Yeah, I bet. Y'all some monkey ass niggas. Of course you gotta be about
I swear though, I'm like the only one that really believes in evolution.
Yeah.
Like 90% of people in here, they hate that. I love it, man. We used to be a squirrel back in the.
Hey, yo,
We don't all believe in evolution.
I'm not high enough for this
You're the only one, aren't you?
I might be the only one.
Yeah, we all believe in evolution.
I stand on it.
With the great apes. I don't know if we're monkeys, but we do share common.
We are scientifically classified taxonomically as the Homo sapiens sapiens in the grade ape family. We are a grade ape.
I would be, man. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Because as soon as that, you just get great.
I think honestly, evolution is a well-known theory. You know, farmers have been using evolution for thousands of years. Farmers used to change the breeding of plants, and they would evolutionize it to change.
I just came out of that room, and the niggas is talking absolute bullshit. Niggas is yapping. I couldn't stand that.
Which one you talking about? Which one you talking about? The casting?
It's the other talking apes room. It says Jesus casted 10 jinn demons. I don't know what the fuck that shit is.
Oh yeah, that's been there for a minute. What was they talking about?
I don't even know. These niggas were just yapping. I was like, alright, man. I don't even know what that's talking about. Let me get out of here.
Who's running that room?
I don't know, but if there's no replays in there, it's gonna be annoying as hell, man. I hate when they do.
It's been going that much long.
Yeah, it was just a big yap session. I don't even know what they were talking about. I just wasn't even interested in listening.
Hey, Rohan.
What does omniscient mean?
Knowing.
All knowing type shit.
Yeah.
Like a god type shit. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck this title mean. I feel like niggas was definitely reaching with this one.
I think Uncle had made that because there was a room that was getting kind of heated, and a few people were speaking. They were like, "You're not black. You can't tell us about our race." And it got so hot. Uncle just shut it down. So,
but it wasn't even hot.
I mean, not hot. When I say hot, I mean like he was getting. I think he shut it down. He was getting, kind of.
I don't know. I didn't see that. What I saw was Uncle Nubby's control. He had his little panties up tied up too tight. He boomed the room. Like literally, we talk about a topic and a guy's talking about how much he hates Somalians. Like, it's crazy.
That's a wonderful topic, though.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I don't have nothing to say about a topic, I usually just stay muted.
Man, I'm about to go watch. I was planning tomorrow to watch Alien Communist. Have you watched the new Alien movie?
Yo, mister, what African race you actually like?
What?
What African race or culture do you actually like?
What African culture do I like?
Yeah, because it seems like anytime an African comes in the room, you're like, fucking Somalian, fucking this, fucking that. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, and you have to tell everybody how much you fucking hate specific people.
No.
What do you mean,
It's not hate. No, like
what is it then?
Somali Somalis don't identify as black. So when the guy came in and said, I'll speak of black people, I said, no, bro, you're fucking Somali, you're not black. That's all I said.
Who cares?
Somebody's gonna fight. Well, that was the fucking point.
The point is, who cares? If some consider themselves and some don't. It doesn't know what they consider themselves. The reason you're black is because of your fucking skin color. If you're fucking Filipino and you're dark, guess what? You're probably gonna be fucking black. If you're Indian and you're really dark, you're gonna be black in somewhat way.
I'm talking bullshit, Google.
Just Google it. Yeah, just Google it.
I'm totally Google it.
I have that time.
Sit out of the conversation, dog. Sit out sometimes. Sometimes your opinion is not needed.
And he tried to.
Wrong. It's not the
What?
Even
the guy
tried to
That's bullshit.
living at the corner.
No, that's bullshit.
You're wrong.
How am I wrong?
That's not what black is.
Nah, man.
Black is a color.
Listen, black
That's not an ethnicity.
Talking about black people, not a color.
It is. It's literally not an ethnicity. It's a color.
Google black. Google black people. Google the definition.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Africans. Listen, if I Google black people, I'm gonna get Africans, not Africans. Yeah, man, you're Google it.
Nah, you go.
To the audience, yourself. Jimmy, so you're saying that this whole thing's about land? Israel wants Gaza on the West Bank?
What's your problem, honey? I don't get it. I don't really get it. She was respectfully asking you. What's wrong with that?
Okay, because I run my room a certain way, certain decorum, and Honey likes to gaslight rooms.
Just because
and
you
she
didn't
got away
respect
with
her, just because you didn't respect her, I'm not gonna respect you in return and have your questions answered simple like that. And you can.
Oh, so you're gonna come to the corner like a little baby?
No, I'm gonna ignore you until you put her back again.
Okay, how about this? You can go play patty cake with her in the audience. You're not a VIP, you asshole. It's fucking bizarre to me how these people think. You know, Linda, I read an article today that 87 people up in the hundreds.
Yeah, I read it. Well, you went on the phone, so I'll answer when you get back. That it actually raised higher. Also,
how high did it go?
I heard, initially, right after October, I heard from the FBI something like 600%. Then yesterday, I forgot what day I read. It was yesterday. Up by 400 or 500% yet again. Today, new numbers came out. I just read it this evening. That the members of Hamas who entered Israel on October 7th were higher than originally thought. So they brought the numbers up today to over 6,000
Gazans stormed into Israel on October 7th.
Well, what's going to happen is it's going to be Gaza, Palestinians in general have become such a liability to Arab nations that maybe they'll make a move. Because imagine, I mean, it's analogous to imagine if Israelis reached out to us and we, like Jewish Americans, were not responsive or supportive. It's not quite the same analogy, but it's a similar model. Like, I mean, what would people think? We would, it's amazing we haven't been able to spin the news in a way that is actually more accurate about how the Arab nations feel about Palestinians.
Right, so I agree with you, but I think a lot of nations either, are keeping mum for whatever their political reason or their constituents, whatever reason. But I think when they meet with each other, it does come out. I just think that, nations would rather just keep quiet on it right now. And I think there's a lot of backdoor diplomacy going on, though. I have no proof, but that's my intuition. You know what I mean, Jordan?
Yeah, I think that, and you have more insight in this than I do, but if influential Arabs see that they can enrich themselves by advancing technology, working with Israel, what have you, that's the best way to incentivize them, perhaps. I don't know, maybe you agree or...
I do agree because, the Abraham Accords, so look what's going on now with Israel, United Emirates, Dubai, Saudi Arabia. And that's a financial benefit to all parties. So I think that, and those are, small countries compared to the entire Middle East. But I think down the road, you're going to have Arab countries coming on slowly, perhaps, one by one, seeing that it's beneficial to them or mutually beneficial. Yes, I do think so. They may not be popular initially with the populace, but when they see that they're benefiting financially, I think then opinions will start swaying a little bit. Because just like the American elections, most voters have three major. The first one is the economy. And that's worldwide with everyone, right? Every guy who goes to work, so-and-so, wants to know he has security, financial security. So I think that will happen. I couldn't say when, though. See what I'm saying?
No, bitch.
I do. And for everyone who's typing in the chats that aren't men or women enough to come up and speak, we have nothing but disdain for you. Just keep.
Jimmy can sit in the corner and do what he does in the corner. What's up, honey?
Hi, what's up, Jay? I just would like to say one thing before I leave. When you said about Palestinians making prosper everywhere they go, I just would like to say there. Numerous countries, and here's the difference. Palestinians still live in those countries. Jews do not. So I just want you to think about that for a second. Who are to be blamed for how many countries have been kicked out again? Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's expected words from a dumb social justice bimbo.
Man.
Completely stupid. She should go put a cock in her mouth. She might have something more intelligent to say then.
Okay. Sharing with you all.
It's amazing to me she wanted to come on stage just to say that. Well, no, that. So let's see.
Jay, I had no doubt she would go there, and that's the first time I ever heard her speak.
So how come all the pro-Palestinian groups stabbing little grandmas in the neck, like 11 at a time, at the varsity festivals in Germany? Why is that?
Hi guys. Well, I have an answer for Hani, and I wish she stayed. My answer is those Jews, they immigrated from their homeland because of Islamic radical Islamists, whereas you have built the world, all the major successful technology. The clubhouse that she's using, the Facebook she's using, it's a product of Judaism. What has Palestinian contributed to the world except terrorism? That's answer for Hani and her friends. So her friends can convey that answer to him.
Well, Honey's a gaslighter and anti-Semite. That's at least that's a known fact to me. But let me go to Ari Afi. Ari Afi, are you there?
Fuck you, G. What the fuck is it?
Okay.
What?
That's what you came up
so-
with.
What do you get out of that? Talking dirty in front of people. Why can't
Fuck
you be
my
civilized? You don't have one.
That's how he talks to his mother. Norman, that's how he talks to his mother. So why get upset?
Ooh, disgusting. Very uncivilized. We're a little more civilized in this part of the